This is a 2-year-old, almost 3-year-old that I'm kind of getting started. He's trotting around. I gave him time off because I just didn't have the time, and now we're back in the program as of a couple days ago. So for him, I am using this D-ring. It's a 2-piece, very simple D-ring snaffle. Shout out to my boyfriend. It's his bridle. Hey. And it's just good for starting because it's the D-ring. The bit can't go through the mouth. Hey. Patience. When they're like that, honestly, I have this flag right here, and one thing that my friend Betsy Vonda, Balance with Betsy, told me when horses are anxious like that, if you wave a flag, this is my version of a flag, it's just like a feed bag piece on the end of a whip, that, see how I have his attention right now? And every time he goes to do that, I kind of wave this to grab his attention, so that instead of him, oh, there's dust coming off this thing, but you see what I mean? Every time he's doing that, I wave it to kind of bring him back into focus and to kind of let him know that he's actually not alone. He doesn't like to tie. He's been kind of a free wild pony for a little while, so getting him, this is the 3rd day back. First day I lunged him. 2nd day I did get on, but like I said, he's been going for a little bit already. Hey. So he was started and then just had a couple months off. He was walk trot decently along. But yeah, like this is the kind of stuff that he needs, and I'm going to show you my ride with him in a minute. But I just wanted to go show you my bridles. So continuing on. So that's what I like to use kind of on like definitely like a colt starting type bit and bridle setup. Very simple, D-ring, can't slide through the mouth, and it just seems like a very forgiving bit. For now, we're going to be working on this maniac. I did already lunge him. I'll put this back too. I already lunged him, but I'm going to show you and demonstrate again kind of like my, I forget the trainer, he calls it like a pre-flight checklist. So I'm going to show you my pre-flight checklist before I'll saddle and get on. So as you can see, he's pretty amped. Back up. I already lunged him, but then I tied him to get my camera stuff ready. And in that time period, he got a little ballistic. Okay. And what I really need to work on him, like he's very pushy. So it's always about getting him to step away from me. And that's kind of what we work on, is backing him up. Good boy. And yeah. So maybe I'll just show that. So I'm just kind of walking him, and when I stop, he stops. And that's okay if he pivots, as long as his shoulders are kind of behind me, and I'll ask him to back and release the pressure. So how I'm doing that is I'll pivot his hip around, but again, keeping his shoulder behind me. And he wants to move, so honestly, I'm just gonna get him out there, let him move, because he's just too confined and wants to go silly. So it's like, fine, like get him moving, just get him moving. There's a few reasons why you just want to get them moving. The one being that literally when they start breathing heavier, it's actually relaxing for them because they're breathing more. So instead of like when you're tense, you don't breathe, where with these guys, getting them moving and actually like getting their breath going is going to help relax them, because just by default, they're breathing more, therefore more relaxed. So again, I already lunged him. He's already pretty sweaty, but I'm not going to get on him because I want his attention. And right now he's thinking about the fact he's alone. So I'm just going to keep trotting until I get his attention on me, which he's slowly relaxing. So I'm going to change direction by stepping back and moving over. I think changing direction when they're moving like that is pretty tough, but also important. So I'm going to try and demonstrate the change of direction, and it's about your energy. So think of right now, like right now I'm looking at his hip, trying to push him forward. So I'm thinking mentally in my head of his hip moving, and I'm kind of like encouraging him along. So my inside is like energetically pushing him forward. My outside, or my left hand, is on his hip, kind of thinking of driving his hip forward, moving. So when I want to change direction, I'm going to back up and then I'm going to point over here. So I'm kind of pushing, metaphorically, my energy where I want him to go. So right now I'm kind of walking, like, let's say kind of almost into him. So I'm like pushing him forward, driving him along, and he's getting already tired. So when I want to change direction, I'm going to back up, give him the space, and then I'm going to energetically then push him now here. So I'll demo again. So I'm going to back up, and now I'm going to push him here. So I'm looking over here when I did that, because I'm kind of I'm looking in the direction of the space that I want to take up. So here I'm going to back up, and then I'm going to come over here. So I'm like kind of like pushing my energy where I want him to go. When I stop, I build a wall, metaphorical wall, kind of push his butt around and let him face me. So now I think he's probably good. Like, he's more relaxed. He's definitely paying attention now. So what I also will do on the ground is flexing. So now he's like focused. He's paying attention. Life is good. So, and I mean, I've done this already before, but the thing to remember, when you have their attention, things are so much easier to do. So when I have his attention, I literally have to pick up and he's with me. And it's pretty awesome when they can be like that. So what I would do, let's say if he was distracted, I would pick up my line until I got his attention. Even if he was like looking over there, I might pick up until I get that ear. I'm not necessarily picking up till I get that full response. I'm picking up till I get his attention. And I think that's really cool. I interviewed Josh Nichols, and that was something I definitely took away from the interview, is instead of pulling to get that external result, I'm pulling to get the awareness, to get his mind. And that's kind of like with the flexing, what I'm going to do is when I step over here, I'm just going to lift up till I get his attention. And it's so much easier when to do stuff, your cues become so much lighter because they're already paying attention to you. So it's kind of like holding the cue until you at least get an ear or you get an eye, or you just get them aware and focused on you and see how light I can be to actually get him to bend for me. So it's more about the attention or the focus, not necessarily holding the cue until I get his nose around. It's holding the cue until I get him to pay attention. And eventually you'll get a horse that's just really in tune with your cues, really focused and paying attention to you. And once you have their attention, everything is a lot easier. Same with the backup, something that I work a lot on with him. And the reason being because he gets a little pushy. So when I back, again, I'm trying to think of so my reins are a little long and I'm holding the saddle, but instead of him like running around me, so I'll stand almost more here to his shoulder and ask, and if he doesn't give it, I pivot him, and then I build that wall with my hand and I push him back until I get a step and then release. But see how he's very much in my space this way. So I put my hand out here, oh, and that was nice. And then I'll release. It's kind of teaching him to also give me space. He doesn't have to hover. He's kind of a bit of a needy 2-year-old. So he doesn't have to hover. But anyways, a little side note that I can go in depth on later in another video. But I mean, like I said, he's already been saddled. I literally rode him yesterday, but we're still at we're not at the point where I can just get on. It's kind of like do the groundwork, get this sort of stuff done, and then get on at the end. Because he's pretty green. And, which is fine. I decided this year I was really busy, having a baby and trying to still ride. So I figured I was going to give him kind of the summer off. Like I said, I did get him started, but then I just was like, I don't have time for this right now. So I was like, once show season is over, I'll fully commit to him. and give him the time that he needs, because when you're on a horse that you're starting, you can't be inconsistent. And I was just like, I know I can't be consistent with him, so I'm just going to give him the time. And I figure I'll probably run him as a 5-year-old, run him, because again, like he's already, I would say, like pretty behind. Yeah, other things take priority. So I'll just tighten the saddle a little bit. And again, make a kiss, get his attention. And I didn't ask him to go that way. So yeah, it's like, hey, be a nut. Just get him moving. And I mean, he's totally had the saddle on. It's on a little loose right now. Hopefully that's okay. But again, get him moving. That's new. He's never really bronked like that before. But I'm just going to go till he kind of settles into the trot a little bit. And he's trying to look for the answer. He's like, oh, can I stop? I'm going to say no. Keep going a little. He wanted to change. Or he just kind of relaxed for a second. So like, hey, let's change direction. And that's better. Whoa. Ooh. Still this direction, horses kind of prefer us or not prefer us to be on certain sides of them. I feel like because we always are on their left side when we lead them and stuff, that's kind of their preference of the side that they want us on. It's maybe like just a little bit safer for them. So it's important when they're young to go both directions, to like make them hopefully just as comfortable on this side as that side. There you go. Boy. Maybe because this saddle I can tighten on each side, I'll tighten a little bit on this side. If you notice, my hand is kind of where I want it to go, and then I'll drop it. So when I lift my hands, it means to do something. So right here, I'm going to point to the right, and then I drop it, he should stop. And I want him to stop. Where he kind of might think to keep going. But when I have my hands just kind of neutral, that's kind of what it means. It doesn't mean a whole lot. Where if I want him to go this way, that means to go. And then if I, again, bring it to the center line, it kind of means like, okay, I don't ask for anything anymore. So something else to keep in mind when you're changing direction. Say I want to go on this side of him, I'll go there. If I want to go on this side, I'm going to point there. So see how like just by pointing, I'm able to like actually get him to go where I want to go. Honestly, pretty cool. Here it's like, and sure, if he wants to trot, I might honestly trot him until he walks. Because the thing is also, when I get on his back, just because we're doing a circle, doesn't mean I want, keep walking, doesn't mean I want a trot, but it's like you should be able to just walk a circle. Like so. And that was really nice. That was textbook. Good. And then we'll stop. So build the wall. Good job. All right. Camera was glitching. Let's try again. Even though now he's freaked out about something, I guess, behind the camera. It's okay. See, like, I feel he's anxious. I have the bridle or the halter already off, so it's not like I can go lunge him again, which I would have if I could, but let's just try to, like, get his attention back. Hey. What are you looking at? Okay. I'm gonna just continue on with what I was doing. Hey, buddy. Maybe I'll get his mind back once I get him bridled. So here, I'm gonna hold the bit in front of his mouth for a second until he decides to open. Hey, but he's very distracted. Hold it until he opens. There you go. We kind of also are giving him the chance to do it. And I will lunge him again just with the reins. I don't know what he's looking at, but he's definitely not paying attention to me. So this is where the skill comes in to lunge with your split reins. But I'll just do it, kind of holding my inside rein a little bit more. Get him used to where we're about to go in a second. And these are just kind of the stepping stones. And see how, you know, like moving gets his mind off whatever was scary there. Go this way. And I don't know, like he was literally fine, and then all of a sudden had to fix the camera, and who knows, they're babies, so it's like whatever, we just roll with the punches. So here again, I'm energetically pushing his hip, driving it forward, so he's a bit more freed up, trying to have my inside rein a little bit shorter than my outside, just so I can kind of like almost direct pulling him in this circle as well. I've never driven a horse with like driving lines, but I hear it would help. Never did it. Maybe I will learn by somebody how to drive. Okay, so now, there, is that better? Is that better? So I'm gonna drop these off now and, there we go. It's a good sign of a nice breath. Mom's coming in with Tanner. You can come in. Because I'm doing a little video. He's full of vinegar today, so we're just going to keep him moving a little. Oh. Alright. This way. How's tea? So. Alright, and I warn you, when I first get on, there's a good chance we're going to look like idiots. Yesterday was the first ride back on him, and honestly I was like, hey, I have no steering, but we worked through it and eventually got some decent circles. He's just a 2-year-old, so it's kind of like, well, you get what you get sometimes, and you just work through it, and it ain't going to be perfect, so here's to that. Hey, bud? And I like to change sides on the way I get on, always, before I get on. See, that's nice. He had a nice yawn. We're back together. Are you with me? So I'm going to flex them now. Something I will do always, and that's good. Now I'll go on this side. Maybe I'll walk him this way so you guys can see. Oh boy. So I'm going to stand near my saddle, maybe pat his butt, reach over, and it's not great. You know, it's a piece of steel in their mouth. Do they love it? No. And he's quite fidgety, but I'm going to pick up till I get attention. There. Until I get that, just that bit of, hey, okay, I see you. And that's all I want, is for him to be like, I see you. I'm with you. So here I'm going to hold in there. Good boy. That's all I'm looking for. It's not pretty, like it's not a lot, but it is a lot, because, and it doesn't have to look a certain way. I'm not here to show, it's here to like, so I'm going to pull there. Just that little bit of, okay. And honestly, that makes a huge difference. It makes the horses give try, and it makes them with you, because you're acknowledging them for being with you, not acknowledging them for when they look a certain way of like, oh, pull their nose to your foot. It's like, do I have their attention while I'm doing it? Because you can get a horse to do what you want, but mentally they're checked out. And that's something I realized with barrel horses. You can get them to do all these maneuvers, but mentally they're not with you. They're like outer space, and that doesn't help. Like, that doesn't build the relationship. So I think it's really important, no matter the age of the horse, is just rewarding the attention, rewarding when they bring their mind back to you and what you're doing. And yeah, so now that I feel like when I pull on them, I have them, so I will then get on. Right? Oh boy. And I mean, if he wants to stiff my feet, that's okay. I'll maybe flex them again on his back, so really wide hand. Flex them, ooh, until he's, there you go. And because he took a few steps, that's not really what I'm asking. Okay. I'll hold it till he actually stops. There you go, buddy. See how he's like, I mean, now he's just wanting to like bite my toes, but at least I have him like focused on this person on his back. He's not thinking about his friends. So here I'm going to flex, but I didn't want him to move, so I'll hold it till he actually does stop. Good boy. And that's good for building. So here I'm going to woo. And this is kind of also the beginning of stopping, like wooing him. Go this way. I didn't ask you to walk, so I'm going to hold the flex until he stops moving. Hold it, there we go. Because again, I'm not asking him to move, and this is working his brain a lot. So I'm going to hold it till you stop. Till you stop, hold it, and then release. So hold it. And I mean, there's probably different ways you can do it. Like, I feel like I just committed to like making him stand still, where maybe sometimes you would really want to get them moving right away. And maybe I do that mostly where I get him moving right away. Ho, ho, ho. There we go. But also patience is important. So I want me to be able to get on and him stand. Ho. Good boy. And I mean, he will learn that, hey, when I stop moving, this lady gets off my face. Ho. Okay, pretty good. So I mean, that was good. I'm happy with that. Now he's standing, maybe thinking about his life choices, and that's great. Good. He's still looking out that door, which is right beside the camera, but maybe now we'll like actually ask him to move. The first few rides were like small circles, no freedom, always holding my inside. But right now, we can maybe walk in a straight line a little, and then I might come into a circle. And when I do my circles, I'm thinking I'm driving a boat on a baby. I pull his nose around, but I'm almost steering with my back end. I'm thinking of like his hip, like a boat, like the steering is in the back. So that's kind of like my game plan with these young guys. So when I pull really wide hands, really open and like direct rein, open up that hand, steer, but I'm also thinking inside leg to kick that hip and also steer with that hip. So here he's drifting out, but if I kick that hip, so here he's gonna drift out. But again, I'm just direct rein, holding it solid till I get the response. Holding it, and it's very baby steps. It's kind of painful. Not my favorite, not gonna lie, but someone said like, in this economy, of course I'm starting my own horse. And I was like, yeah, I actually kind of feel that. So anyways, so now we're like walking a decent circle. He wants to fight a little bit, but maybe then I'll just walk out of it, turn direction. So open wide hands, very much direct rein. If he wants to drift out, again, a boat. If a boat's drifting, how do you change it? And I really don't want him to trot right now, so I'll put a small circle. When he walks, we'll walk out of it. So here I'm going to open up the hand. To help with that concept, like looking almost at your inside foot when I'm doing it, like I'm almost like looking to the inside, and that's helping us like stay round, and almost like my hand is like directing to his tail. And that's how we're going to get like that shape. So here I'm almost like pulling my hand to his tail. I'm looking at my foot. And this is how we get just decent steering with his body, where I'm not just pulling his face, because he has no idea what that means. Like, he has zero concept. A bit in their mouth is not natural, one little bit. So yeah, like when they really want to cave in, I'll just maybe like inside foot a little, keep that forward motion. I just want him to keep moving ahead. Just keep moving. It's like forward motion right now is super important at this stage. It's like if we can just get them moving, then they won't get in a bind. We won't fight with them. And again, just remember, a bit is not a common thing. So be gentle on your babies. You can't expect them to understand, because it makes sense to you doesn't mean it makes sense to them. There, that was okay. So we'll walk out of it. And this is kind of the reward, is just walking out of it. And then you decide, okay, another turn. So I'm going to pull with that hand almost to his hip, look into the circle, just try to get him to follow his nose, and thinking of that boat steering analogy. So it's kind of like his butt is going to come around as well, and then we're just going to walk out of it and see how much like more relaxed he kind of is. He's blowing through his nose. There we go, camera. I swear this phone is like, this Pivo game is risky. Half the time I look over, it's like at the wall. I'm like, oh, cool. That's helpful. I'm not trying to focus on riding or anything. Whatever. Doing it for you guys. So here he's being like a little, like, again, don't want you to trot right now. Didn't ask, so I'll just tighten it up. And then once he walked, I'm like, you know what, we're going to. But he's really interested in drifting towards the camera, because that's right at the barn door, or the door to go to the barn, and it's open. So he's like, we want that escape. But so I feel like I have decent steering, and what I'm going to do is trot. Yeah, that's right. We gonna trot. So, okay, right there, prime example, he put his ears outside. I just pulled on him until I got his attention. So here he's distracted, pull, till he gives a bit of an ear. Go straight, turn this way. There you go. Bit of an ear, and then I'll kind of release. So pull till I get his ear, and then we're good. And that's just so important. Like, if their mind is outside with their friends, you're not gonna accomplish the things you want to, and it's teaching them to like reward when they actually come back to you. I can't stress that enough, honestly. So here I'm gonna ask for a trot. He's doing pretty good. So mostly it's voice commands at this point. Maybe a little squeezing of the legs, but mostly voice command. Because I've done that since day one lunging, so he kind of understands. So here he's wanting to drift out. Easy, buddy. I'm going to do a bit smaller of a circles. Here he's wanting to drift, but I just kind of keep, easy, buddy. Keep looking on the inside of my circle, keep thinking of steering a boat. Good boy. Good boy, there we go. For whatever reason, he really wants to drift that way. Once I get him going, we'll just go straight. Good boy. Go straight, turn him this way. Doing good. This, you can see. Turn him this way. He's a little looking outside. Just keep him moving. When he wants to drift, honestly, push him forward. And that's just kind of gonna... See right there, I'm gonna pull to his tail, maybe bump my inside. There we go, and then that's okay. He like kind of turned on a dime, but at least, hey, we got steering. Eventually, I'll be using my outside rein. There we go. We're not quite there, but I will start implementing my outside rein. Easy. I don't understand. But that's okay. We're just gonna roll with it. Maybe walk out of it. Again, there we go. Get his attention, because he's still thinking about going over there. There we go. Kind of do a bit of a reset. Instead of fighting, it's like, hey, fine, we'll just like walk a little. Get his attention. There. He wants to put his ears forward, looking outside. And I'll just hold till I get his attention. Hold, there we go. And I'm holding with my inside, like I'm waiting till I get his ear. There we go. Till I get his ear. There we go. It's okay. Maybe I'll do a circle right here. It's kind of noisy. It's getting a little windy, so the barn's rattling, and I'm actually quite proud of him for not being so freaked out. So here, get his ear. Good boy. Walk in a straight line. Maybe turn him this way. He seems to struggle a little bit more to the left, or just doesn't really want to follow himself that way. That's okay. We're going to go straight out of it. Let's try to be relaxed. We're on young horses, but just try to be relaxed